Hello, this is Tex Andrews again with the LightZone project, and this is part 3 of our series of videos on tool anatomy. Once again, we have an attenuated editor module window so that we can concentrate better on the tools themselves. I've chosen a different image for this example because it has multiple colors in it, and we're going to use a hue saturation tool to make our point over the next couple of videos. So we talked about the Tool Settings tab. Now we're going to be talking about the Color Selection tab. And in this video, let me just go over the parts. When you put all the parts together and get them working together, it becomes amazingly complicated, although also amazingly powerful. So let's just hit the parts, and then in the next video, we'll talk about how they work with one another. So here's the eyedropper tool. Like any eyedropper, you can pick it. I'm going to select this yellow in this tulip down here, and you see that this box right here turns yellow. That represents the color that we just selected with the eyedropper tool. This little box next to it with the arrow resets the color selection. So when I do that, it goes back to the gray that it starts with, which is just a mid-gray sort of non-color luminosity selection. If we are hitting the saturation slider here and goosing all these colors up a little bit, you see that they all go up. However, if we use the eyedropper tool to just pick the yellow, then you can see that the yellows are what are affected here, and maybe a little bit of the yellower part of the grass and this hedge. But the pinks and these purples, they are not affected at all. Now another way to pick a color, I'm going to reduce the saturation again, is to select from this group of radio buttons here. So I could select this yellow. You notice that it's a little bit of a different yellow. I could select this pink. If we select the pink and I move the slider up, then you can see that the pinks are getting a little more intense. You're probably seeing a little bit of an effect up here with these tulips up here. And if you're very keen-eyed, the magenta cast that comes from a particular combination of lens and camera with the NEX7 and wide-angle lenses, the magenta cast is popped up very slightly, but that's another story. Then right here you have something called a range slider, and when you slide this range slider back and forth, you basically broaden or narrow the range of colors that the saturation and this particular combination of color swatch are affecting. So if I increase it by going to the right, now you can see that it's affecting more of the pinks down here, and you should have been able to see that the purple tulips started to pop up, and so did the sky get affected, and now you see that magenta cast is really getting accentuated. It did not really affect the hedge at all. If I were to slide this range slider down, then the effect is narrowed, and you can get the effect very narrow indeed, so that it's only affecting this particular pink. So that's the top half of the color selection tab. The bottom half will come to in the second installment of this, and that's where things get very interesting indeed.